Okay, that's not bad.
Sure. Right.
But in the center of that was what you homed in on. Where's James? Well, this was the opposite of what we usually see from James. Usually he's shooting you out of the game because he's just gunning up three-point shots and they're bricking left and right.
Right.
To your point, he just decided, I'm not going to shoot us out of this game. Well, the corollary to that is that means you can't shoot your team into a win, right?
Correct.
He just went completely quiet in the fourth quarter for that stretch from the 10-minute mark all the way down to he made a uncontested layup with 16,
18 seconds to go.
Okay, so that's it. So you just go quiet in there, and I think you only attempt one other shot because for the fourth quarter you make 2 out of 3, but again you're too quiet.
James Harden 3 in the quarter that you gotta have
3 attempts.
3 attempts.
Okay, come on, James, where are you? So to your disappearing, usually he doesn't quite disappear. He just goes up in flames, you know, like in cold flames.
Right.
But in this case, there's no second scoring option because Chris Paul, I got to say it, he just looks old to me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's washed up old, but he looks like an older player to me, right?
Well, you know what, Skip? We got seduced by last year because he really played well.
He did.
But Chris Paul has kind of been in decline for a minute.
He's been in decline for a long minute this whole year.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, you need one of those two to come up big, and neither one of them do because they combine for 8 points in the fourth quarter, and they go 0 for 3 from 3, those two together. Meanwhile, Steph and Clay are scoring 19 points, and they're going 3 of 5 from 3. And it doesn't sound like big numbers, but it's way bigger than what those two were doing for Houston, right?
Yeah, it is. And to your point, Skip, I think when KD goes out, I think we forget just how good Steph Curry is because Kevin Durant is in the way he's played in these playoffs, he's been transcendently great.
Yeah.
And we forget just how good Steph Curry is. And so Steph now says, I'm free. I don't have to worry about it. So, because now he and Clay can get whatever shot they want, whatever they want, and not have to worry about taking off KD. Because KD normally, in these playoffs, KD's had it going throughout with the exception of game 1 against the Clippers. So now they can be themselves. And you saw, the moment he left, look at Steph Curry's body language. Look at his demeanor. Look at Clay. They're like, oh, y'all think we about to fall apart.
Oh.
We got something for you. Take this.
Watch this. Steph Curry, from the moment Kevin left the floor, limped off the floor, he scored 16 points. And up until then, he'd had another raggedy game. He was 4 out of 14 up to that point, and he just didn't look like himself. But he hasn't looked like himself for a while. Until Kevin left the floor. And I'm not even making the case they're better without Kevin Durant because they're not better without Kevin Durant, but they're different. They're different. You go back to the old roles when you don't have Kevin and you don't have the big guy. You don't have DeMarcus, right? You don't have
Kevin is your bailout, Skip.
Yeah.
So if everybody else is struggling, you got a guy you can dump it to him and nobody can do anything about it because he can shoot over anybody. He can get any shot that he wants.
So Steve Kerr seemed a little deflated after the game. Steve Kerr's body language and his tone after the game indicated to me that Kevin Durant is hurt much worse than they're letting on.
Right.
Because he seemed resigned to it, but he did want to plant his emotional flag on what his guys did. So he used that quote from the Liverpool manager off the big win over Barcelona the day before.
Yeah.
And again, my guys are effing giants. And they were. You know what? They were. They just stood up and said, no.
Nope.
No, not in our house. Not you guys.
They're champions.
Yeah.
Like I said, 4 of the 5 starters have won a championship. They won 73 games. They're battle tested. So they weren't going to lay down. If Houston thought that Golden State was going to lay down once Kevin Durant left this ball game, they're sadly mistaken. But I don't like the way they came out, Skip. They let Golden State get 5 offensive rebounds in the first quarter. 9 second chance points. What the hell is Clint Capella doing, Skip? He's the one that said, I want Golden State.
I know, and he just looks lost.
It looks terrible.
It looks terrible. I agree with you. He doesn't look like he's worthy of the stage. This is too big for him.
Or that $80 million contract.
Or that contract.
Tuck is giving you everything you got. PJ has been unbelievable. Since game 1 when he scored 0 points, he's been unbelievable. Averaging double figures, the rebounds and points. You can win with that.
And remember, Eric Gordon was ice cold for 3 quarters.
Yes.
And then in the fourth quarter, he came alive and made all 3 of his shots and 2 threes.
Yes.
2 of 2 from 3. Well, you can't ask for much more from him.
You can't ask for more than that.
Okay.
I can ask more from James Harden in the fourth quarter.
Oh.
I can ask more from CP3.
A lot more. So we got to examine 2 plays late that did finally determine the outcome of a game that I think Golden State was going to win anyway. But Steph came down with 53 seconds left, and it's a 4-point game. And they finally forced Steph into a bad shot by anybody's standards, even his standards. And he shoots this little floater, and look what the end of it is. You have to get this rebound. Somebody has to grab that, and he did. It goes right back. I know it's a long rebound, but one of those 3 Rockets has to come away with the basketball, and maybe you got a chance because there's still plenty of time left.
Look at that effort. Look at Clint Capella's effort. You tell me he's trying to get
effort. And what happens? They jump into Steph and they foul him. And so now the 4-point game becomes a 6-point game. But they rally, James makes a shot, and finally you've cut it to 3, and there's the loose ball over in the corner.
Right.
And obviously Clay is out of bounds when he tries to save it back in. His foot is out of bounds, so it should have been called there.
Because he just throws the ball away, Skip. He threw it away.
And it goes right to Eric Gordon, and you have to come up with the basketball. If you want that game, you're going to get that ball, right?
Yeah.
It goes. Eric Gordon just butterfingers it. It just goes right through his hands. If you want it, again, you're going to get the ball with 4 seconds left and a chance to call timeout and advance to the other end.
Correct.
And have a 3-point attempt to tie for overtime.
Correct.
Okay?
Yes.
So did they get robbed? I don't know if robbed on the Clay. Should the ref have seen it? He's watching the ball. He's not looking down at the floor.
But it's funny how he's looking down at the floor, because I remember P.J. Tucker hit one in the corner 3, and they happened to be looking at the floor. You saw that was Skip? Now, P.J. Tucker took a 3 in the corner. They're looking at his feet. Oh, you out of bounds. Now they're looking at Klay Thompson.
He got it right. He was stepping on it.
And if he'd have looked at the feet there, he'd have got that one right. Kind of like the Kevin Durant. You remember Kevin Durant was up under the side bench, and they said he was still in bounds with those size 42 shoes. I don't know, Golden State get that home cooking, Skip.
Yeah. But I can't complain about this because it just felt like Golden State.
It shouldn't even come down to this.
They just said, no, not in our house. We got this. Steph said, remember me? Remember how Kevin Durant said, I'm Kevin Durant? Well, that was Steph saying, I'm Steph Curry, right?
Houston, you win this game, you go home with a chance to close them out.
This is it. It's right there on a silver platter.
You goofed it up.
Here, you can have this.
Skip. This is what, when I say James Harden disappeared, he scored 31. But in the meaningful ball game, you remember Game 6 against San Antonio? You remember the game he had 12 turnovers against Golden State?
Well, how about Game 7 last year at in his house?
That's the disappearing act.
Game 7. Really? Okay, he went 2 for 13 from 3.
Even when he was coming off the bench in OKC, you remember the finals? You remember how he disappeared in that one, Skip?
He did.
It seems to be a reoccurring theme.
He's made for the regular season, not so much the postseason. So you had the opportunity of a lifetime of your career right here before you. You and Chris Paul. Chris Paul's had nothing but bad luck and bad breaks through playoffs run after run.
Yeah.
He's gotten hurt. Blake Griffin's gotten hurt. Different teammates. Tyson Chandler got hurt in New Orleans. It's one after another. And now here, the best player on the planet got hurt. Can you finish? No, you can't finish this. You can't close it. So now we wait on the MRI about Kevin Durant, and I just don't know. I'm not ruling out torn Achilles. I know they said
it's not, but if he got a pretty good tear in his calf. So if it's not in the torn Achilles, he got a pretty good.
Okay, if you're right about that, he's gone for the rest of the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, I don't see him go because it's such a fast turnaround. Friday, Sunday.
No, but I'm talking about for the whole rest.
Oh, for the whole playoffs.
If you're right about a calf tear, you're. I don't think you can come back in 2
When would
weeks.
Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals be? Probably Tuesday?
Not sure. It would depend how far this one goes. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
Wednesday?
I would say Tuesday because
That's still a quick
they play
turnaround.
tonight. Yeah, Tuesday because the Nuggets play tonight and then they will play again Saturday.
Yeah.
So I would assume Sunday. I mean Tuesday of the following.
Well, to your point about what happened on March 13th, there was no KD, and Clay scored 30, and Steph scored 24. And James Harden had another 2 of 12 from 3, which he's wanting to do.
Yes.
And Golden State won 106-104 at Houston with no KD. So do they feel good about their chances of winning Game 6 with no KD? You better believe they do.
Yeah. I mean, Skip, he's going to shoot I mean, the percentage, because if you see the degree of difficulty of the three he's taking. Now, not only is he taking 27, 28, 29 footers, he's taking step back with hands in his face. So that's not an easy shot. It's not like, I would almost rather him take a contested three because he had 3 cracks last night. He was wide open and didn't come close.
He had one like nobody around
in front of
short arm.
Yep.
He's starting to short arm his free throws. You know, it's one thing to score 60 some Tuesday night in Sacramento, and it's another thing to have that.
Well, he was tired because he checked out and about 8:18, and then they put him back in. I think 7:08, Skip, at 7:08 mark, and he's like he got a minute break. But as Edmund Hillary said, the first guy to climb Mount Everest, says the man that can push himself when the effort becomes most painful.
We'll be waiting.
Fatigue makes cowards of us all, said Vince Lombardi.
No, Roger Bannister said that.
No, that was Vince Lombardi.
Oh, I know. Oh, I don't believe James is a coward, Skip, but he's going to have to do something in these meaningful games. Game 5, Game 6, Game 7s, when he has an opportunity. He's an MVP. He gets held to a different standard than, say, a role player. So he's the guy. This is your moment. This is what Michael Jordan and the Birds and the Magics and the LeBrons.
Well, fortunately for him, it didn't end last night. He gets another crack at Game 6.
Skip, he better drop 40. They better win.
Tomorrow night in Houston. They got to do something. This is his legacy on the line.
Oh, yeah.
How he's doing, I mean, he's got a lot to do tomorrow. Another guy who might be a little upset today, guys, LeBron. New day, new Lakers
Is it time
drama
for him
in
to...
Lakerland.
Is it time now?
Don't forget...